I read some earlier interviews or watched some interviews. You said that when you met each other, Rob and you, Rob was has always been 2 years older, of
Yeah, he was
course,
2 years
and
older
he
than me.
was like more of a big brother to you.
He
Um,
was.
and was it? How did you experience the two of you? How did the whole Milli Vanilli experience before it actually was published that you didn't sing? But how was your bond?
Our bond was always of a camaraderie, friendship, brotherhood. That's what it was, you know. And yes, he was older than me, so it was my big brother to begin with. But with time, things turned, and then I became the more mature one
Also during that period.
during that period. Yeah, because because of the drug addiction, it was kind of I could see him lose himself, so I had to be the big brother then, the responsible one.
But was the drug addiction also happening during the Milli Vanilli time before it
Oh
was?
yeah, during Millie, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, because the weight of the secret was getting heavier and heavier. So
But do you think for him, because he was adopted, I think he was born in New York, right?
no, he was born in Germany.
In Germany,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
and I think he only had one sister, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he only had one sister. Well, I did some research, but maybe it's
Right, 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 right.
maybe it's not good. But um, what do you think him being adopted, like being rejected by his
No, I
biological parents?
think that I'm no psychiatrist, but I believe that the fact that he was adopted, there was definitely a void in his heart, in his soul, and suddenly entering the music business, the rock star life. Well, there's sex, there's drugs, and there's alcohol, and those are tools that you can use to fill that void, to forget that feeling that you don't have. So for him, definitely it was that love. He was missing that.
Did he talk about it with you?
When you know someone very well, it's not what they say, it's what they don't say. You have to learn to read between the lines. That's how it is with friendship. And when you know someone well, you can see the behavior. And me being someone that observes people closely, I'm more of an introvert from nature. So I've always studied people, his behavior, always, and I can figure out what type of person you are pretty quick now.
But is it for you when you look back on those days? Was there something that could have helped him? Do you think, or was it just
No, there's nothing.
bound to
Because
happen?
the fact in the matter is, when it comes to addiction, you're the only one that's driving that car. It's up to you. There's a pole in the middle of the street, you see it. But for some reason, with addiction, you're not going to go around it, you're going to go right into it. That's it. So, but with time, people have the strength and understand themselves a little better, so they say, well, let me go around this because I won't be able to handle it. But with addiction, it's just, you're just lost.
What is
Lost
it?
in pain and emotions, trying to figure out yourself. And by medicating yourself, it's like a labyrinth. You kind of go in circle.
When did you know? Because well, of course, everybody knows the story. You've sold millions of albums. You had a Grammy. Um, when and maybe it's not right, but I thought Frank Farian he brought the news out that you didn't sing on your own album.
That's correct. That's correct. We're very because.
Did you know that he was going to do it?
Well, the thing is, when I spoke about it before, is that we were done, and we wanted to get off the project. So
Contract-wise too.
contract-wise, get out of the situation.
Because you
So
only had one album with him.
no, there was more. But we didn't know that. You know, when you sign a contract with an attorney or manager, you just sign a paper with lots of prints, but you don't really actually know what's written in there. But there was more, you know, and we wanted to get out of this project, and we kind of pushed him to get us out. And the way he retaliated was to tell the world, well, they didn't sing on the record, when in fact he was the one responsible for building this whole thing. But his ego, you know, at the time was huge, and was going to teach us a lesson for going against him. That's it.
He felt like he was the boss, and
That was it.
for you standing up to him, you should pay. In hindsight, because you got all the blame. You got all the blame. In hindsight, could you have done maybe if you brought it out yourself? Do you think the blame was less on you, maybe?
Now, there was nothing. There was nothing we could have done to change this whole mess. Now, whether we would have come out and tell the world, we had done it already. The wrong was done. We didn't sing on the record. But to change everything, singing on a record would have changed everything. But he didn't allow that, and didn't want that. It was,
So
and I think it had everything to do with him wanting to control, just like he did with Boney M. It was a control thing, or I don't know. To this day, I really don't know what was in that head.
Could be what you say, because you said, well, if he let us record two, or maybe the second album and the third album, and include our voices on the album, then the first album, which was a big success, wasn't that of a big deal. That's what you mean.
No, it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, what I'm saying is that for him, whatever his plan was, because I still don't know to this day, why did he do it like that? Because he had no plan on letting us sing. That was not part of his plan. He was only interested in one thing. That was it. He was putting a puzzle together.
I think he didn't think further than maybe that one album, that one.
Or one single, maybe.
Yeah. And when it took off, it was huge, because I liked the album a lot and I played it a lot, and it was good music.
It was good music. Still is.
And like you were saying, it all fit together perfectly well.
Perfectly. Yeah.
But what I was meaning is, if he let you sing, if you were allowed to sing on maybe on a second album or third album, then if people found out that you didn't sing on the first album, it wasn't that of a big deal.
No, but I think that the voice was too different, you know. For example, one thing that people don't know is that Girl You Know Is True, the rapper on Girl You Know Is True, is not the same as Baby Don't Forget My Number or Girl I'm Gonna Miss You. John Davis, who I work with in Germany, as a matter of fact, did those, you know. John Davis did all the rest with Brett Howe.
Yeah. And I think you also performed with him, with John Davis.
I'm performing in Germany. We're performing the old songs.
Yeah.
On the Face Me's Voice, a Milli Vanilli experience.
Okay, well let's finish. So the word got out. Well, you've had a terrible time, I think.
It was good times.
No, what do you mean
and
afterwards?
Bad times.
Afterwards, I mean
afterwards it was.
Because you released. I think Milli Vanilli released The Moment of Truth, and I think there was some splitting point with Keep On Running. I think you performed Keep On Running.
Yeah, because we were still. It was still.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get off the train.
But then you released Rob and Fab, and I think I listened to the album and I saw the clips. I think what was the song? What's the song already? What's the first single from that album?
We Can Get It On.
We Can Get It On. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah.
Why?
Rob couldn't focus during that time. He was dealing with the drug addiction. So the job had to get done. So I took it on. I had no choice.
How was it doing that album?
I loved it. And my first finally a chance to do to show what I was capable of doing.
And did you write too?
Yeah, I wrote an album too.
So what I mean, did you write on that album? Did you write songs? Did you write lyrics on?
Yeah,
on
on the Robin Fab album, I wrote. Yeah, I wrote on most of the tracks.
But how for you? Because I found that really, really fascinating. Where did you get the strength to actually get on going in music?
Because I'm a music lover. Music is part of my life. I cannot live without music. And when the chips fell, I found myself in front of the drawing board and thinking, okay, trying to make a plan in front of the blackboard and say, okay, what am I gonna do? Do I go back to Europe? No. Do I stay here? It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. What is it that you really love doing in life? You know, because for me, the only thing I had known was music until this point. I never had a real job before. Music was the real job. In order to continue this journey, I would have to learn how to play an instrument, learn how to write songs, work on my craft, overall, my voice. But I felt like I had a story to tell. And loving music my whole life, listening to songwriters my whole life, loving music, I felt like I could write something that had meaning, that people would listen to a story and be like, oh, okay. Because that's what, back then, people of, you know, when I grew up, we were paying, a song could change your life. And I've heard that many times. Many times I've heard people say, oh man, that song changed my life because it said what it said. And that was my focus. Like I want to write music that can inspire people, to make people dance as well, you know, love, talk, but you can talk about different types of love. So Robin Fab album was the first one out the gate, play with it, but then I did Love Revolution, which was my first solo album, and with Love Revolution I was really able to translate and channel everything I wanted to say through music.
You wrote everything on it?
Yeah.
Well, he passed away on April 2, 1998. Was it true that you actually did record an album before that? There were talks of you releasing an album, well, the two of you?
Oh yeah, we always wanted to do more music together, always. But he had a problem, you know. So we always talked about, okay, when you're ready, let's get this back on the road. Let's do some more. But I knew from recording the Robin Fab album that he had to get his stuff together in order to be focused 100%.
And well, you also said in earlier interviews that it still was a shock, but you weren't that surprised anymore of him passing away.
No, because with addiction, it's just it can only be three things: hospital, police station, cemetery. Either or. So I was always worried, especially because he was so deep in it. So
what made you stick with him?
He was my brother. There is such a thing as, you might not be genetically, like family like that, blood related, but because of all the experience and the journey we've taken together and the bond that we had from the beginning, I was not gonna, because he was struggling, I was not gonna say, oh man, you're like a heavy weight on my shoulders. I'm just gonna get rid of you. No, you don't do that. You stick by your friends, as you stick by your friends no matter what.
And what do you think of Frank Farian trying to get into rehab? What did you say to him about it?
Oh, that's another subject. I'm not going to enter into that.
No?
That's a whole other chapter, and